Welcome back to Flight Path, Buddy Taylor Middle School's new podcast series where we keep our Eagles flying high and informed. My name is Katie Hansen, the proud Eagle principal, and today we are bringing you episode 2, Soaring with Support. At Buddy Taylor Middle School, we believe no Eagle should ever have to fly alone, whether it's academic help, emotional support, or simply finding your place to belong. There's a network of caring adults and programs ready to lift all of our Eagle scholars higher. In this episode, I am joined by our 7th grade school counselor, Mrs. Dowdy, one of our BTMS deans, Mrs. Tina Culler, and one of our ESC support facilitators, Mrs. Womack. And we are going to talk about all the ways that Buddy Taylor Middle School supports our students and families, from tutoring and clubs to counseling and community partnerships. So, buckle up, Eagles. Flight mode is always on. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start with just what does soaring with support mean here at Buddy Taylor Middle School?
I think it means all the different ways that we are able to reach students, whether that's academically or with activities, making sure that we have people on campus, whether that's during the day or after school, that students can connect with. We have a lot of different people. Students always have someone that they can go to regardless of the situation, whether it's academic or it's emotional or it's mental health. We have someone there for them to visit with if they have an issue.
Yeah, I would add that one of the great things about Buddy Taylor is the diversity of our school and the diversity of the clubs that we offer for our scholars here, ranging from the sports to our Dungeons and Dragons club, our culinary, and then our classes with the robotics and the gardening. My son is a new Eagle here, and it didn't take him very long to find his clubs and his people, and some supportive teachers that he instantly connected with.
Absolutely.
And I also want to add, I love that we let them know what's available to them. They know, if they ask a teacher or if they ask a counselor, they know that we will know where to put them.
Absolutely. And I think in the middle school level, and I talked about this a little in the first podcast series, oftentimes parents feel that need as they shift to middle school to be like, okay, I can back up a little bit. I can kind of be a little bit more hands off. I can allow them. And I put the challenge out there in the first podcast. This is the time to really lean in and help your child find their path. Whether they need supports, whether they want to be in Dungeons and Dragons, all of the things that we offer, there's so many opportunities for no matter what the kid's interest or background or, their future path is.
Well, and I also think this is the time outside of elementary where they can develop a joy or a love for school because of the other things that we offer. And really, we don't have as much as obviously a high school has, but our high schools have really great programs that students can eventually lean into. Our goal here is really to try, I think, and let the students find things outside of academics that also inspire them to be in school and be part of the group and part of a community, whether that is Dungeons and Dragons or chess club, or sports, book club, whatever they're trying to do. But hopefully when they find that group, that group wants to be in school, and it gives them a reason to come and want to be here. And then it gives them something to look forward to as they move through school.
Absolutely. And we talked about that idea of no eagle flies alone. And I think that's so important. Middle schoolers are social creatures, and they need and crave that place of belonging. And I think that's something that we offer lots of opportunities for them to kind of find that place where they can belong. Let's talk about when students need assistance or help. How would a student, if I was an Eagle scholar here and I just needed some help, how do we make sure that they know where to turn?
I know one of the ways is our student QR codes that are all over the building and every single classroom. That would be a good place to start, especially if they're not sure. They're going to fill out that Google form, and they're going to get called down the same day for the most part, unless it's the end of the day, and they're going to connect with Ms. King or one of the deans, and we're going to handle it or direct them to the right person, same day.
And also the teachers will know, and it is hard learning to self-advocate and ask for help or to stand up for yourself and kind of let somebody know you need assistance can be difficult. But usually students have at least one teacher they feel comfortable with. Hopefully they have more than that. But those teachers will know based on whatever their concern is, where to send them. And then in addition to the QR code that Ms. Culler is talking about for the deans, guidance, we've created a new system too. It's going to be rolled out probably sometime next week. For each counselor, we're by grade level. We have our own QR code, and all the teachers are going to get all the, like, based on grade level, the QR code for their counselor, and then we're going to put up some master calendars. So if a student wants to talk to one of us in guidance, they can just scan that QR code and let us know, and that will come straight to us and let us know somebody's looking to meet with us.
And I love that on both ends because it provides to me two things. One, it keeps our students in class where they need to be learning and listening to instruction, but it also gives the kid the ability to share a concern without it having to be public. Like, I can take my iPad and scan the QR code and type that concern without me having to necessarily go to a teacher and say, hey, so-and-so's bothering me and I need some help with this. It gives them an element of privacy because we know our middle schoolers do not want to be seen as a snitch or, any of those terms. So it gives them the ability to share concerns and seek that help that they need without being like spotlighted for it.
Well, and I love that we're also offered, we have Gmail. So I had a student that reached out to me because they're like, hey, I am falling behind in my classes. How can I get into tutoring?
Yeah.
And I was able to help them get into tutoring because of that. Because some of them are very shy and they don't want to come right up to you in the middle of class and say, hey, I need help. And emailing is another great way that they can just do it on the sly and nobody has to know.
This being my 4th year as a guidance counselor here, it's great because we roll with our students. So our students, we get to know our students because we start with them in 6th grade and we take them all the way through. And that is one of the big things we stress to students. My students are emailing me all the time. I am answering questions all the time via email, and it's great. They just message me, hey, I need to see you. Is it an emergency? No. Then I'll schedule so I'm not taking them out of core classes because that's a big thing. We want to make sure we're not kind of impeding education. But sometimes they message and they're like, no, I need to see you. It's really serious. And then we know to grab them. So email is really great because we always have our email handy. Our computers are always up and with us. So just teaching them to communicate and then letting them know how easy it is to get a hold of us is really beneficial for them.
And then let's shift and think about, like, from a parent's perspective or a guardian's perspective. If my student is not willing to self-advocate, or if I'm, having some concerns as a parent, from your perspective, what's the best way for the parent to start to seek some of that support that they need?
Well, I always tell parents to email me, for sure. Parents email me all the time if they have a concern about somebody, and I will grab their student. Like, if they're emailing, it could be academic or it could be personal. Sometimes parents are emailing us because, they've had something go on and they're trying to find mental health support for their student, and we can work on a referral for that. Sometimes it's academic and they're not sure how to set up a conference with one teacher or the whole team. So email is always, I always tell people, the best and easiest way to get a hold of us because we can respond usually faster and give them all the insight that they need for.
So I want to dig a little bit deeper into that. Talk to me a little bit about what are some of the additional supports that we as a school provide when our families have concerns, whether it's mental health or additional counseling. Give them a little brief overview of the kinds of supports that we offer.
Well, so we as the school counselors are there for pretty much the everyday stuff. We handle the emergencies if they're having a rough day, they get in a fight with their friend or something's going on in class. We're there to kind of, provide that immediate support. We also, depending on what's going on for a student, we might do weekly check-ins or bi-weekly check-ins if we, in talking with the parent too, feel like that student needs additional support. If there's a need for something more serious, like an actual therapy or counseling, we do mental health referrals through our GSB, and we can help parents get connected. They just fill out a few documents for us, and our downtown office district takes that information and helps connect them with mental health counselors. And what's really nice is most of those mental health counselors will come and provide that service during the day here during an elective or a lunchtime. So students don't even have to, it's not a huge disruption, but they can get additional support if they need.
That's great, especially if you have transportation issues at home. Knowing that support comes here to the school is a great benefit for our families. How about if my student was struggling academically? Like, what would be some opportunities that as a parent or as a student to self-advocate for? What are some of those additional supports that we offer?
Well, on Mondays and Wednesdays, we have our tutoring, and there's transportation provided for those who they have to ride the bus home. And that's Monday and Wednesdays, and it's until 4:00. Students that also can be picked up by their parents, they can come on Mondays and Wednesdays as well. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays.
We also have tutoring going now on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our students who prefer Tuesday, Thursday. It works out better for their parents and their transportation, 2:30 to 4:00 as well. And they can be picked up or walk home. There's no transportation available to them.
What happens? So our students dismiss at 1:40. Talk to the parents a little bit about. You said it starts at 2:30. What happens in that interim time?
So immediately after school, they report to the cafeteria with the other clubs that are waiting to be picked up by their sponsors at 2:25, where they can have a study hall. They can also have some social time.
They get a snack.
I was going to say, do they get a snack? I thought they
get
got
a snack.
It's on Monday and Wednesday.
On Mondays and Wednesday, they get a snack.
I love that we feed them.
Yes.
Yes. We give them a little snack. And they have just a little time because they are here all day.
It is not. They get to decompress.
They get to decompress. They're
Before
like
they
it's a
start.
long day for them if you're staying all day at school and then until 4:00 after school. So they get a little time to decompress and
socialize.
Yeah.
I love that. So thinking beyond tutoring, if I was a parent who said, okay, I got my kid coming to tutoring, I've reached out and got all the supports that I can. What's some pieces of advice that you would give a parent to support their kids learning at home? Like once they've gone home, what are some ways that our families can help support their learning?
I'm going to be going in. I go in every year to speak to all my students. I usually go in the first semester, which I'll be going probably in the next week or two to go talk to everybody. One of the main things I try and tell the students, and I share with parents if we're having conversations outside of that, is to set up a system to help them be successful. Because we're now in a situation where they have a lot of classes, they have a lot of different teachers. We're in a block schedule, so it's nice for them. They only have those classes every other day. But when they move on to high school, they're going to have a skinny schedule, which means they have all 7 classes every day. And this is the time when you really need to develop a system for how you are tracking and monitoring. My recommendation, and this is what I tell the kids all the time, is to get a little notebook, get a pencil, and every day pick a time. And I don't care if that's 1:30, 4, 6, pick a time every day. And when that time goes, open up Schoology, write down your core classes, and just check and see, like, what do you have? Is everything done? And you can just make a note, like, all done or what assignment you have. Check everything first. Document that, what it is, and then look to see what you've written down. Start with the easiest or the one that's due first, and then you can just knock it out and kind of mark it as you go. One of the biggest issues when they're moving and transitioning to middle school is organization. They no longer have just one teacher all day who's keeping track of them. This is now their job. They're going to have to keep track of what they need to do, and they just need to come up with a simple way. And to me, I think that that's just an easy way for them to just take ownership. Every day, open it, look, write it down, mark off what's done. And if you just do it every day at the same time, you'll build that habit.
Yep.
And really, it's about developing a healthy academic habit so that when you're moving forward and you start to have more, which is 7 classes a day as opposed to 3, you've now established an easy routine that allows you to stay on track of all your stuff.
Yeah.
I also want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was going to say, as the parent of a middle schooler,
Yeah.
I try and, we've got the red day, blue day, just having, I know that my son had English, math, and science today. Just asking a specific question, what'd you learn today, is going to get me nothing. So in science, what are you guys talking about? Just so he can think about it and recall, and then whatever he says they're learning about, I can't remember, something interesting that I don't know about, and tell me more about that. And then, so when's the test on that? And just kind of probing that way, but just knowing what classes, what are you doing in math right now? When's the test on that? Or, how are your tomatoes looking in gardening? Just trying to be more specific with my questions other than, what did you do today? Because that response is always nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
I ask my children when they get in the car every day or when I see them at home. I have one in high school and one in elementary school now, and the rest are in college. But when I see them, my question is always high-low. What was the best part of your day, and what was the worst part of your day? And it usually just generates conversation, because it's not a yes or no, right? Like, oh, no, I didn't learn anything today. My mom always used to say that to me. What'd you learn today? I don't know. Well, then I'm not sending you to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
But when I ask them that high-low, then it prompts a conversation to
Yes.
be able to dig in a little bit deeper with them.
And then also, do you understand it? Because if the answer is no, and I say, have you asked for help? It's no.
Right.
So, if
what a great opportunity to start a conversation.
Please make sure you tell the teacher tomorrow, or show me, let's see if we can find some other resources.
And if you're in that situation, you're not lucky enough to work here and know all the people, pick up the phone and call our teachers, pick up your phone and send us an email. I think our teachers here are very responsive.
Yeah.
If those parents are reaching out to us and sharing concerns and asking questions, they're happy to jump in and help whenever they have that opportunity.
And I am using Parent Square, even though I work here.
I use it too.
I'm using Parent Square.
Yeah, I use it too. I also think that at home, especially in middle school, they don't know how to study. They can be as organized as they want to be, as they possibly can, but not knowing what to study and how to study and how to manage your time that way, it's important. So we always at home, we make sure that our son, he knows how to study. He knows that, you can't have the TV on and you can't have your iPad up and watching YouTube on your phone while you're trying to learn a subject. So knowing what they need to study so that they can, excel their learning, I think that's...
And you make a good point too, helping ensure that there is a space, an environment at home that is conducive to that. And I know sometimes that's a struggle. Sometimes our middle schoolers are looking after their younger siblings or, helping do chores and things around the house. But when it is time to sit down and get some work done or to study, that they have a supportive environment that is quiet. It's, not free from distractions, all of those things to help support them.
Well, and I also, when I was talking to a parent the other day, because we were talking about setting up a system for him to check his work, and when in talking to them, I said, and you can just check on Sundays. On Sunday, if you don't have access, they have access. Don't act like if they have their computer, they have you can ask them to open it up themselves. Mm-hmm. And I said, you don't check every day. Let them build some responsibility for that. But you can sit down on Sunday and say, hey, open up Schoology, and I want to see, show me each class what's done and what's not done. And at that time, when you were talking about tests or you're talking about studying, you can ask them, oh, this says you have a test on Tuesday. Have you studied? Where is the review? What have you been working on? Mm-hmm. And one of the big things is that reading, you're learning different skills in reading, and math, you're learning different problems and you're learning problem solving skills. But science and history are huge vocabulary
rich. Yep.
Vocabulary words and terms you don't know. And I've been telling a lot of my students, when it comes to those two subjects especially, you need to go old school. You need to be memorizing. You need to be making note cards, because you are learning words and terms and that you just don't know. Like reading, you're going to build upon your reading skill in reading, and they're going to be teaching you stuff. Math, you're getting a problem sheet that has the formulas on it. But science and history have just terms and dates and words. And if you really want to help your student with those subjects, old school memorization and note cards, because that will help them learn all those terms they don't know.
Absolutely. All right, so let's shift a little bit and talk about, so we've talked a little bit about some supports from counseling and with tutoring, but another great way for kids to be involved in school is through extracurricular activities. So Ms. Collar, talk to us about some things we've got going on right now at BTMS.
So we've got our clubs and activities, and we do have some sports. So our sports programs are run through Legend Athletics. And we do, we've already finished our basketball season. Go Eagles. Yeah. We beat the Mustangs down the street in the All-Star game. We're in about week 2 of volleyball. Volleyball had a huge turnout because the turnout was so large. We are looking at adding a second season in the spring.
Oh, fantastic.
So for our families who didn't get a chance to play, and we'll do volleyball all the way up to December 15th. When we come back from winter break, it will be soccer season. And then in the spring will be flag football. We've had a lot of interest in track.
I was going to say, do we do track?
We have to.
Yeah. I know we used to do cross country a long time ago,
so,
but I guess
that is a possibility. We also have a PE coach interested in doing a sports club too, so be on the lookout for more information for that. As far as our clubs, we've got a culinary cooking club. We've got Sea
art
Perch.
Club.
art club.
Oh, sea perches. If you have not looked into sea perch and your child is remotely interested in things STEM and technology related, you definitely need to reach out to Miss Jones and learn more about sea perch. That is one of the most amazing programs.
We've got SWAT, Junior Explorers. Miss Womack's going to have to help me.
Art club,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Chess club is happening.
We have the Eagle Conservation Club with Miss Adair and Dr. Asher. I have Future Problem Solvers and our SGA Eagle Council.
We've got Josh Cruz Writing Club.
We got Josh Cruz Writing Club.
Is it too late right now? If I'm new to the school or my kid just wasn't interested, missed the memo, is it too late for a kid to join any of those clubs at this time?
None of the clubs. Usually with the sports, the registration fills up, but the clubs are all still open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would think that some of them, like Future Problem Solvers, if they're starting to work on those projects, that's something I would look into sooner rather than later.
Sure. Future Problem Solvers, they've already got their teams ready and they're already starting with competition. But SGA, they are always, I'm always welcoming new. I have students that are like, hey, is it too late? No, it's never too late to join.
And just, as a plug out there, that's something that, being new to Buddy Taylor Middle School, that's something I really want I'm going to challenge our electives team this year with some input from our families and students to really start to look at the electives classes that we offer to ensure that we're tapping into the interests of our students. And if there's an opportunity and something that we have a large group of students who's really wanting to see, and we have the capacity to do it and an adult to teach it, so stay tuned, when we start talking about scheduling in the spring. I'm looking for some new opportunities there too. All right, so to wrap this up, I want to challenge you to what's one thing that you wish every parent knew about the resources offered at or through Buddy Taylor Middle School? What's the one thing you would say to a parent to help support them?
Well, I'm going to change. I'm not going to quite answer that question. Sorry.
That's okay.
But I just want to go with what I want our parents to know is that we are here for your Eagle and we care about everything that you care about. And if you have any concerns, and we want you to bring it to our attention so that we can handle it. And
I really feel like we have something for everyone. Mm-hmm. We really do. Whether it's athletics or something fun like Dungeons and Dragons, or something STEM like CPERT, we really have something for everyone.
Yeah, academic, sports,
And then during the day, not only do we have something for them that way, there is somebody here for them, period. There is somebody on this campus that can help your child if they are struggling, whatever they need. There's somebody here who can help them.
Absolutely. And I would say too, if you feel like you're worried your kid's falling through the cracks, please just call us. We will point you in the direction of the support, the adult, the program, the resource. Mm-hmm. We want to be a partner in your child's education. We want to help support you. So if there's something you need or want or see a need for, please reach out to us and share those concerns, because we only get better if we're all working together.
Yeah.
All right, well, we appreciate you tuning in for episode 2 of Flight Path, BTMS's new podcast series. Stay tuned for even more episodes coming up in the coming months. Thank you again, and remember, flight mode always on.